Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As always, I'm Riz, and this is Umamusume Cinderella Grey. This is Season 2, Episode 2, or Episode 15 overall. I quite liked the last episode, so I'm looking forward to getting into this, but first, a couple quick things. Last time, when Oguri Cap was talking with all of her classmates, you know, Dick the Striker in particular, so first, Dick the Striker is going for the Mile Championship, and wanted to, like, egg Oguri on into doing that one too, so that they could both compete against each other as milers, but of course, Oguri Cap, not understanding social cues and such, didn't realize that that's really what was going on. It was very cute. Poor Dick the Striker, so flustered, loved that part. Anyway, Oguri said that she planned to run in the Japan Cup instead, which is what I expected just because I knew that that was the international race, and the whole point of this series, or like the one thing about this series that I knew going into it, was that we were going to have the foreign competition. But one of the things that I just realized I'd gotten mixed up with the subtitles was I had read them as that's after the Arima Kinen, that being the Japan Cup, and I corrected Oguri because, you know, the Japan Cup comes before the Arima Kinen. Arima Kinen is in December. But no, the subtitles actually read after that's the Arima Kinen. So, my bad. Just wanted to throw out that correction of my correction. I falsely corrected Oguri Cap. I'm sorry. No one mentioned it in the comments or anything. I just realized it upon well, I didn't even rewatch the episode. I clicked through it again. I wanted to make sure it was the Mile Championship that Dicta was talking about, and it was. So yeah. I also just wanted to mention again that I'm excited to learn more about, I assume it's another trainer or something, because it wasn't an Umamusume, but it was the mysterious woman that we saw at the very end that looked very much like an anime character, you know, in terms of, like, you know, the bold eyes and the differently colored hair and everything, but I thought she looked super cool. And again, not an Umamusume, so if she's there, I have to imagine that she's a trainer, just because we really haven't seen many other types of people, or like at least they got any sort of focus. You know, there have been reporters, and, you know, the commentators, I guess you could count that, but that's basically been it. So is she, you know, a trainer of one of the foreign horses? Is she a trainer that's supposed to hint at, like, a future series? I have no idea. Aside from that, I know just from having seen the thumbnail of this episode, once again, I got this particular episode from It's Anime Powered by Remo. Link in the description below. If you're watching this in the future, I don't know, best of luck finding it. I'm sure you can if you Google well enough. But based on the thumbnail that was on that, I know that Super Creek is going to be in this episode at least a little bit, so that's exciting, because the last time, or in the last episode, when we saw Super Creek pass by Dick the Striker in the hallway, you know, there was a certain, like, aura to it, right? Not the way that they, like, depict aura in this series, but just, you know, the sudden, like, slow-mo kind of thing. You could tell that it was an important figure passing by. And, you know, we know Mama Creek. So I think it'll be cool to see her solidify her rivalry with Oguri Cap, because we really did not see it in Season 1. That was focused on, you know, Tamamo Cross. Yeah. And then we know Yaina Moteki is still going real hard for the Kikuka Sho. So that'll be interesting, because, you know, that is the third crown in the classic Triple Crown. She was able to obtain one of the three so far. And then it's going to be her versus Sakura Chiyo no O. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be another big contender, but they each have a crown in this classic triple. So, oh, I also should have pointed out, sorry, this is going to be a timer reaction like the last one. I will have a countdown for you to follow, and I will provide the subtitles of the episode so that you can either follow along using that, or if you know, don't pull up another thing. If you've already seen the episode and the subtitles will be enough for you, awesome. But with that said, let's get into the episode. That's right. Gotta learn from your losses. So just a quick little recap of things. Yeah, see, that's the line that I mixed up. I flipped after that, and that's after, you know. It would have been nice if she went for the Autumn Tenno Show as well to try to get the Autumn Triple Crown. Dicta's so cool. I do hope she gets her chance in the spotlight here. But yeah, I mean, if Oguri's already going to try to run in the Japan Cup and the Arima Kinen, you might as well do the Autumn Tenno Show too. Get yourself a Triple Crown. Yay, working hard. Go Muteki, go. Hey! How long has Creek been going at it? That's what I want to know. Okay, so yeah, trainer. Fumino Nase? I don't know horse racing, like real life horse racing, so if that's the actual name of like a real life trainer, I'm unfamiliar. But I also... Clearly they've been taking the real names of horses for the Uma. I don't imagine they would do the same with actual trainers. Like, they might have trainers based upon real, like, you know, jockeys and whatnot, but I don't think they would do, like, a one-to-one. Oh, and if you couldn't tell, since there are no subtitles right now, we're on the opening song. For the sake of keeping things in sync, I'm not gonna skip it. Wait, is she Super Creek's trainer then? That would that would kind of surprise me if that's the case, because I thought that the reporters were saying they were doing a thing on new trainers, and Super Creek isn't a new racer. Their prince, ooh. You sure let them go a long way before saying that? Is that yours then? Is it? Aww. It's so cute. Okay, well, I guess she is. Ooh, specifically calling out Oguri. Oh no! Yeah, I know! Oh. Ah. Poor Creek. It's okay, Mama. We love you. Fair enough, fair enough. Aww. I'm not sure why she's vibrating. I wonder if it was like an honorific thing that I'm unfamiliar with, because, you know, American. Okay, good. Did I fully see what the subtitle said? No, I think it said she moved up like 2 places where she was 19th, and I assume the Kikuka Sho just doesn't have that many slots, right? So I think she barely made it into the race. That's fair. Well, Japan's only medium. Worth pointing out. I guess if they're calling the Aramakinen like a medium long, they'd probably call the Japan Cup a medium long too. I can't think too much about like the game, you know. Nicely done. That said, it wouldn't hurt to know your opponents. Now, I have to assume that Super Creek is going to win. Just with the way they built it up. Because obviously these are based on real horse races, right? Yeah, it's the only 18, so it was a good thing she moved up too. So they can't like decide the winner for narrative convenience, but they can certainly shape the narrative around it. Dang, good for her. But actually, yeah. Oh, right. We saw last time the Sakura was injured, right? Or no? I might actually be thinking clear back to season 1. I would just be surprised, like, why she wasn't in this race if she wasn't injured. Well, apparently she's kind of disappointed up to this point. Ooh, so serious. Poor Musaka. Man, if Super Creek does win, that's gonna be a blow to Muteki. She was already beating herself up about it. Training super hard. I feel like those two were the only named ones I recognized. Nice, nice. I still think it's going to be Super Creek. And I think that makes the most sense narrative-wise, too. But I do, you know, I love Muteki. She's great. Nice, nice. Those long strides. Power. Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, right. That was the Tenno show. My bad. Well, you can still get 2 crowns then. That just didn't even occur to me. Her running is so different. I like these the little intermission commercial screens. Hmm. Right when putting the shoe on. Fits right in with the mention of glass, too. Though it bothers me to know that they apparently don't wear socks. Just imagining the blisters. The intensity. Ah, and then they cut away. Good. Poor Yaino. No. She's just all alone there. To the others' credit, they caught up. They caught up real fast. But she definitely won. Aww. That's right. Oguri gets a little scary sometimes, doesn't she? Aww. Happy Creek. That's right, yeah, I know, you will. Poor girl. Oh, that episode was so fast. It's already over. Alright, while the ED's playing, we could start to talk about it, because I don't expect things to change. I'll at least try to idly watch while I talk about this, but yeah. So the first thing is just to reiterate, whoops, I did forget that like the big race between Oguri and Tamama Cross last season was the Autumn Tenno show. So yeah, Oguri can't participate in that because she did. It's in the past. I'm so used to, just like from the game, I think that the Autumn Tenno show and the Kikuka Sho are like the same turn, which is like the same half of the month. I think they're the same time. And so since the Kikuka Sho was coming up in the anime, it just like it didn't occur to me that yeah, that was the one that they did. So she is participating in like the Autumn Triple Crown. But she can't get the Triple Crown because she already lost once. But yeah, that was God, that's a cute picture of Oguri, little kid Oguri running around because she couldn't always even like stand, so that's so sweet. Yeah, I mean, like, it feels like not a lot happened in this episode because, like I said, it just went really fast. Let's see if there's yeah, there's another scene. Okay, hold on. 10 days that Japan Cup will be held. Goodness. Tony Bianca. Of course, those two come up. Tamamo's not daunted. Wonder where she represents. Nope. She got them star eyes, okay. Cool. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, not a lot seemed to happen in this one, but I guess just thinking about like, you know, we saw Yaina Muteki training a little bit, coinciding with Super Creek training, and then that went into I'm like scrubbing through the video now. The bit with the reporters and trainer Nase. I think that was her name. I hope that was her name. Yeah, and then after that, well, that was a surprisingly long scene, actually. Yeah, a little bit more Muteki training. And then it was just the Kikuka Sho. Wow, I didn't realize the Kikuka Sho went that long. Okay. I kind of felt like I wished that they had done things a little bit differently order-wise in the Kikuka Sho. Just the bit... Because there was that moment where like we really got to see the intensity in Super Creek's eyes. Where I thought she was then going to take off in her spurt. And like in that moment she did, but first we cut away to them like in Nase's room. Nase? Whatever. Mentioning that like Super Creek no longer had like glass bones, that, you know, they'd gotten stronger. I feel like, and maybe I'll feel differently on rewatches, but for the sake of getting my reaction out there, I do want to say that I feel like it might have worked better for me if that had been coupled with, you know, an earlier flashback scene with Super Creek, and then we could have had that lead into the intensity and then lead right into the spurt, because I felt like it cut the momentum just a little bit of that moment, where it could have been better served to just going like straight through. But it was cool. I didn't know that Super Creek had that kind of like rough start, you know, was just like being frail. And I want to know the kind of training that went into actually strengthening her bones, so that she could have like good spurts and stuff like that. Because if she was frequently like, you know, spraining her ankles or whatever, like what changed that made it so that was no longer the case? I don't know. And I don't know that they'll ever explain it. If anyone has any insight on that, and it's, you know, again, let's avoid spoilers, right? But if anyone has any insight on that, you know, do let me know in the comments below, because I'm interested. But I do think that was a strong showing to establish Super Creek as a rival for Oguri Cap. Such a shame that like Yaina Muteki kind of had to take the fall for that one. Again, I know this is based on like real life horse racing, but to think of it in a narrative sense, she, you know, because we know Yaina Muteki is strong. Even if she has lost some pretty significant races, we know that she's, you know, a very dedicated, and just tough racer, right? I thought that like if anyone was going to be able to show like that mental strength as well as like just the physical endurance, it would be her. But at the same time, I was also thinking we have seen her get more and more stressed, like leading into the Kikuka Sho, right? There was already that bit of a crack in her mental fortitude, which I think helps explain that a lot. But still unfortunate because we love her. I got just like a little emotional during that part with her in the tunnel with her trainer, because like poor girl, you know, she's going through it. I'm glad she didn't get injured, or at least that hasn't been revealed yet, because sometimes they'll do that. They'll seem perfectly fine. Then the next episode, we just see them wearing a brace of some sort. But for now, it doesn't seem like Muteki was injured, so that's good. Super Creek doesn't seem like she was injured, so that's good. And just to go back to the Kikuka Sho a little bit, I almost made the remark that like Belno needs to stop being surprised when people have like good spurts, because you know she's like best friends with Oguri Cap, right? She's seen her from the very beginning, and Oguri's all about that final spurt. But I liked what they did with the track, pointing out that race course, it's where like the inner and the outer tracks like met, and so in that moment like the railing was gone. I mean, like for a decent stretch, I would think the railing's gone, but you know, I guess they are moving really fast actually, so they'd probably cover that gap pretty quickly, wouldn't they? But Super Creek being focused and like aware enough to recognize that and be able to act on it, that was pretty cool. Like, I wonder if that came up at all during, you know, the strategy meeting, basically, you know, when planning for this race, or if Super Creek just pulled that up on her own. Either way, yeah, very impressive showing. I'm surprised how the very end of the race turned out, because Super Creek had such a lead. At least it seemed that way, because, you know, it was like just her on camera for a little bit. But then, you know, when all the other racers passed the finish line, it only looked like they were maybe like a length behind, like a length and a half. I don't know. But either way, solid victory from Super Creek, and that was the end of the classic triple tour. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you all thought about this episode in the comments below. And if you know information again about like the origins of Super Creek and, you know, like what they did to strengthen her, as long as it's not going into spoiler territory again, or if you know anything about like trainer Nase, let me know. It's interesting seeing we had Bianca and the American one, I don't remember her name, if it was given, you know, they showed up. And so, you know, with 10 days until the Japan Cup, Oguri Cap does not have a lot of time to train for that, but we're going to see her do her best. And based upon, based upon what they were saying too, Tamamo Cross is also going to be in the Japan Cup. And so that's gonna be interesting, because we're gonna have all of these really strong foreign horses, and Oguri Cap, who of course is strong, and Tamamo Cross, who of course is strong. It's like, that is gonna be a huge race. So looking forward to seeing that. All right, one more thing. I mentioned this last time, but I will actually be going away for a couple weeks. In like 4 days at the time of recording this, so like 3 days probably if you're watching the day I uploaded this. And so I'm probably going to have, like almost surely, going to have late reactions to the next 2 episodes of this at least. But I do look forward to getting back to it. So if you're also looking forward to watching those, just be patient. Thank you all so much for watching up to this point, and with that, we're calling it here. Have a good one, everybody.